the Batmobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight, Basement Dwellers. Basement Boy Banter, episode 8. Already up to 8 episodes, Brian.
Yeah.
As promised last week, new posters. Amazing posters. Yes, that Star Wars poster will be hanging above my bed someday, very, very soon.
Someday.
But for now, it'll be behind us every week for as many weeks as I see fit.
Probably till Star Wars comes out.
Probably till December, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. So, like I said before, thanks for joining us tonight. We are your number one spot for all things Basement Boy related. I'm your host, Thor. With me, as always, Brian.
Hi.
Let's get it going. So tonight on the docket, we got some topics. We got the female Thor was revealed in Thor number 8. Then we're going to talk about the Supergirl trailer that came out this week. Mm-hmm. We got Incredibles. The Gem trailer we're going to talk about, and I'll try not to vomit. Batman Unlimited Animal Instincts is an animated movie that came out this week. We'll touch on that a little bit. We're going to talk about some wrestling. We've missed wrestling for quite a while, I think since WrestleMania, and someone's amazing prediction. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who, though.
Me neither.
So we're going to talk about WWE Payback. Sorry. And then we're going to go into some X-Men news, and then we're going to go some Twitter and Facebook questions. So... Mm-hmm. Let's start it right off. First thing, female Thor revealed. Thor number 8 came out earlier this week. So if you don't know, in the comics, Thor's been a girl for a while now. And I'm not happy about it and haven't been since the change was made. But I'm learning to live with it and coping through therapy and other forms of coping mechanisms. But that's neither here nor there. So she was revealed as to who it actually was because she wears a metal mask. So you can't see the face. But this week, it was revealed it's Jane Foster. Not to be confused with Jane Fonda, who made the workout videos in the 70s, but Jane Foster from the movies and a long-time Thor love interest in the comics. Funny part about it, though, she has breast cancer, terminal breast cancer, and becoming Thor speeds it up and accelerates the cancer. So it's killing her, but she won't stop doing it. There's also some side stories where she lives in Asgard, and Odin said if the new Thor comes in there that she'll be arrested, but it's her, nobody knows. So there's some other things going on, but the main thing is it's her. She has cancer. It makes it worse. Brian, what do you think?
It sounds like a good reveal as far as like choice, because they easily could have done, like we mentioned before, some like, oh, it's some random Valkyrie, but they like made it stick with the universe. Sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they made it make sense for the character.
Right. And they also put like sort of the backlash of it. So it's not like any human can just do it and be fine. It's like Thor has the body of a god.
There's a price to pay for holding my hammer.
Right.
That's right.
So they kind of put...
There is a price to pay for holding my hammer, by the way. But we'll talk about that at another time.
Yeah. But they kind of give it more importance in the... Like, you know what I mean? I feel like if other people were angry about it before, like... you weren't happy with.
That was personal reasons. But
right. It makes it a little easier knowing it's a character. It's not some random girl. It's a character from the universe that kind of fits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's a thought process going around that she's going to die. Mm-hmm. And then original Thor, or who they call Odin's son now, is going to take back the mantle. Which one can hope and dream and pray. But we will see.
See, it's hard to imagine that, though, just because Girl Thor's so popular.
I guess.
But why? It's like one of those things. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot if something's working?
Well, but it was working before they made the change too.
True.
You know, I guess it Thor's been around for a long time. I mean, it didn't. It's not like you have to. I mean, I guess for the diversity to switch it up, female hero, you know. But there was no need to
Yeah.
change the character, I thought at the time, or still think at this time. But so that's out there. Go to your local comic book shop, check it out, pick it up. Secret Wars is still going on too. Episode 2 came out, and it's got a whole Thor, Thor core pretty much. Like Green Lantern core, but they're all Thors from different Earths and stuff like that. I haven't got a chance to check it out. I saw a couple like clips of it. It looks amazing though. But go check both those out. Go to the comic book shop, support your local comics. Well, and whatever. So moving on from there, Supergirl trailer. There's a lot of garbage this week. So whatever. I'm just gonna start off. I didn't like it for a couple reasons. Number one, I thought it was too cheesy. I like some humor. I love the Flash show. They do humor really well in that show. This one tried too hard. It was too bright, and that's, it's not like everything has to be said at night, but it wasn't. Someone had said this to me on Twitter too, that it was Marvel-esque. And they said it as a good thing, but I took it as a bad thing. Because DC does DC. Yeah. Marvel does Marvel. Yes, Daredevil has a darker tone, but it's still a Marvel property, And
it still feels Marvel.
It still feels Marvel. When I was watching the Supergirl trailer, I didn't feel DC. I didn't feel Gotham, Arrow, Flash, hopefully the Teen Titans show coming up, like those shows. I didn't feel any of that. Or the Legends of Tomorrow spinoff. It had a completely different feel. And what I also think might be confusing is they kept referencing Superman in the trailer. Did you notice that?
No, yeah, all the time.
And her costume looked very similar to the movie costume, right? And they also said that the S wasn't an S. It was the same thing as in the movies.
Coat of arms, yeah.
So
it means hope.
They keep saying over at Warner Brothers, these two worlds aren't connected. TV separate, than movies. Well, then why even reference... you don't have to make those references, but you don't have to try to avoid them. You can just tell other points. You know what I mean? But why? Because people are going to get confused. You know what I mean? Your mass population audience is going to be confused and think they're in the same world when Warner Bros. Has gone on record multiple times saying they're not.
Maybe they're going to switch.
But I did not like that trailer. So you liked it a little bit better than me.
I did. It wasn't like I was the most exciting thing ever. It felt very catered to an audience. It felt watered down. Like if it was a movie sort of thing, it would feel not like a movie. The production value looks decent. It doesn't look amazing, but it looks decent.
That part where she's under the plane and stuff like that. There were some parts of it that I really liked. There were, but as a whole, and it's just a trailer. The show could be amazing and prove me completely wrong, but as a trailer, I'm not excited. I'm gonna give the show a chance. Yeah, I'll give anything a chance. I'll try anything once, twice if it makes me feel good. But I'm not can't wait for this show to come on. Yeah. I'm excited for Legends of Tomorrow. I'm excited for the Teen Titans show. I'm not excited for Supergirl. See, and that's what a trailer's supposed to do, is make you excited.
I don't know. There are this is a girl show parts to it where it's she's getting coffee and nobody notices her, which, Superman does the same sort of thing, but I feel Superman's kind of gotten over that, whereas this didn't. It stayed in the old sort of, I'm an underappreciated person.
Well, I know you haven't seen Agent Carter, but Agent Carter starts off the same way. She's underappreciated, but that takes place in the late 40s, after the war, not in 2015. I was almost going to say 2004 for some reason.
You're old.
Yeah, I am old. 2015. I don't know. It came off. It didn't rub me the right way. That's all. I don't
know. I think it'll be good. If the first step, it depends. First episode, I think will not be great. I think it'll be kind of bad.
See, that's doom for it though. The first episode's got to be good.
I think after there are plenty of shows that survived past the first. You even said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The first season wasn't great.
First half of the first season.
Right.
Yeah.
If that has one or two bad episodes in the beginning, but can still get some pull factor, I think it'll be good. Because I like that they make the Superman references without going too
I would
Superman.
if they were in the same universe. But that they're not, then I just think it's confusing to the viewer.
I think it's confusing if they start making too many. Just mentioning Superman's not bad.
You don't actively avoid it, but you don't turn and like drive at it 80 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
but
you don't try to run into it head on.
The biggest part, very big part of her character is her cousin is Superman.
No, true. I mean, Kara
can't-
Zor-El is. I mean, I know.
You can't.
All right.
It'd be like a Robin show, and you literally never mention Batman.
Well, that's what I'm curious to see on the Titans with being Nightwing. How much they do reference Batman? I hope not very much, because let the character stand on its own, not who they're related to or where they come from.
Well,
let that character stand on their own.
Yeah.
Yes, mention it, but I hope it doesn't go much further. I hope it's not like throughout the whole season. It's
Right.
Like
and that's the
running
same
gag.
with Supergirl.
Like mention it in the beginning. Okay, yes, that's your cousin, but then let her be her.
Right.
You know
I
what
think they
mean?
just sort of, because like they have a really good line in there where it's like, she's like, oh, if he wanted me, my cousin wanted me to be a superhero or whatever, why didn't he say so? And the reporter guy's like, he wanted you to pick for yourself. So I think you're not going to see too much of him, because they're going to try and make it seem like he's
the first episode.
He's sort of like a guardian angel
like
to her.
Overwatching figure. A figure is just overwatching the situation.
Right. He
from
leaves
afar.
her because Superman kind of switches from just Metropolis to the world, whereas this will be a good opportunity to show her just in Metropolis.
Well, what was she in Metropolis or was she in
I
a
don't think
different
they
city?
said.
I didn't think I don't think she's in Metropolis, because that's why Jimmy Olsen's there in whatever city she's in and not in Metropolis. I mean, we'll see when the show comes out, but
I think it's worth a
enough
watch.
of the cesspool of that trailer.
Yeah.
On to some good news. Not that trailer. Incredibles 2 was announced this week. I'm super pumped for this. Incredibles is actually one of my favorite superhero movies.
Yeah.
Period. Not only animated movie, but superhero movies. It's amazing. It's what a Fantastic Four movie should be.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Not the new one, but I mean the old ones. Just any Fantastic Four movie should be built like that, with the family and just the way it's constructed. Brad Bird does an amazing job.
They almost do a really good kids movie with, you know what I mean? Fantastic Four kind of makes a pretty decent kids movie.
Kids, family.
Family movie. But you know what I mean?
It's got
A
something
lot of
for
people call
everybody.
it
It's got
kids
something
movies.
it's got something for the youngest all the way to the oldest person, you know, where it's not just a kids movie, but you know, like a family friendly movie, which I hate that term too, but something that appeals to everybody that's going to see it.
Well,
Anybody, even us,
and
who
I
have
say,
no kids or family and are just two lonely bachelors sitting in a movie creepily, you know.
No, that's why you always
animated
ask
stuff.
somebody else. Like, if there's like 5 of you, it's not as creepy.
No,
it sounds like it would be creepier. It's
I go
less.
sit by myself wearing a trench coat. That's not.
I'm surprised you haven't been kicked out of movie theaters yet.
I'm just sitting there watching a movie, eating Butterfinger bites and laughing at cartoons.
You couldn't have
There's
picked
nothing wrong
a
with
You
that.
couldn't have picked a worse candy either. Like, if you were like, oh, I'm eating a Snickers, like that's not as bad as I was eating Butterfinger bites.
I mean, I didn't say it like that.
You might as well have. You might as well.
Whatever. So that movie's announced. Brad Bird just got done working on Tomorrowland. I was actually going to point to the poster, but it's not up anymore. Which comes out next week. So now that he's done with that, his next project's going to be Incredibles 2. And there's talks of him talking with the Star Wars people about eventually maybe doing a Star Wars film.
Cool. Well, if
which would be
Tomorrowland's
awesome.
good, it'll be cool.
I don't even think it matters if Tomorrowland's good. I mean, I think that's going to be a good movie anyways. But I mean, even with what he's done so far, that guy's an amazing director.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see Incredibles 2 being a flop. And
It'd be
Tomorrowland,
kind of tough to make it unless you like literally did no work. I think it'd be kind of tough to make people not, because it's a cool concept. It's work. I mean, Fantastic Four's worked forever.
It's been a while since the Incredibles one. I don't know how long. I want to say like
it's just
7, 8 years maybe.
Finding Nemo has a second one coming.
Yeah. And now we're finally getting a second one, and it'll be curious to see.
Monsters Inc. There's another one coming. Like
they
waited a long time.
The nice
on
thing
a lot
about
of these.
Incredibles though, and even though it's been so many years, if they wanted to pick up right after the first one, they could. If they want to age the kids a little bit and tell a different story later on down the line, they could do that. They have so much flexibility with what story they tell. Oh, I think that's the story you're gonna get.
Two families, the sister's family and the
that far down. I don't know if they go that far.
That
down
would
the
be
line,
kind of
but
fun.
That would be interesting. The brothers,
Yeah.
Well, and then the youngest baby's like a teenager or something like that.
Slash young adult. Like that
Yeah,
could be
that
fun.
could be that. And who knows where they'll go with that. I mean, I know he's writing it right now. Like he's literally writing, the story.
You
as
can
we
take
speak,
take our ideas.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he needs our ideas.
Well, everybody needs a little creative help.
Who doesn't
once
need
in a
our
while.
ideas, right?
Hey, you were right about, a lot of things. People could use a little bit of that insight.
Oh, don't stop. My head doesn't need to be any bigger than it already is. So on to more garbage. Yes. Gem and the holograms trailer came out this week. It's God. I'm just gonna go and then you can go because this is the biggest pile of steaming garbage I've ever seen in my life. The worst trailer, hands down, I have ever watched. They pretty much took the source material, crapped in their hand, and just smeared it all over it. That's pretty much what they did. They're like, here, you know what? You got a nice little story. You're an 80s cartoon. It's like, I put it to Brian like this. It's like having a Transformers movie where the cars don't transform. Or they're cars, but they don't transform into robots.
Or they're just robots that don't transform.
Right, they don't transform, but they're Transformers. Or it's like G.I. Joe, but they're Boy Scouts. And it's not like real war. They just do like crafts and arts and crafts and stuff like that.
Shoot BB
I
guns.
understand making a movie that's different than the source material. But at its core, you can't make it what it's not. If that movie was called something else completely.
Oh, you didn't even mention why it's so different. The
earrings. So Gem was a record exec's daughter who had magic earrings that made a hologram over her so she could be a different person. She wasn't some white girl from the suburbs who made a YouTube video and got famous with her 4 friends living in foster care or whatever the hell the story is they're telling. So right. And were there any holograms in that
Not
trailer?
in the trailer, not at all.
Why call Gem the holograms then? Why? So the holograms would actually come from the earrings and the whole thing. But they just threw the entire thing out the window and said, you know what? I got this great idea for a story that's been done a million times. Girl gets famous, right? With her friends. Check this out. No, it's original. It's super original. Check this out. Girl gets famous with her friends, right? They go to Hollywood, make it big. Then the evil music studios get to her. And they're like, you're so good, you don't need your friends. So she dumps her friends. And guess what happens, people? Friendship wins out in the end. What a load of garbage. Like an absolute load of garbage. I'm sorry, but this is, and I'm not even the market for this thing. I grew up in the 80s. I'm familiar with the cartoon, maybe seen 4 or 5 episodes, not like Voltron or Transformers or Silverhawks or Thundercats or G.I. Joe, where I've seen every single episode, but I've seen a couple. I've seen enough to know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's debatable, but either way, god awful garbage. I'm done. Go. I have nothing else to say about this movie.
I don't think it looks great. I'm going to see it regardless. But I don't think it looks... Because I actually learned about
I wouldn't see it for free.
Gem and the holograms through a video game. There's a character who sings the theme song through the 80 cartoon. He says it. And then so I looked up the cartoon or whatever just as like a joke. And I watched 5 or 6 episodes or something. And I was like, this is definitely the girl version of G.I. Joe. Like they would definitely work well opposite on Saturday morning just to keep both audiences interested.
Exactly what it was.
But it wasn't good or anything, but I can see where it would have a fan base.
See, the original cartoon's not even that good. Mm-hmm. So when I knew they were I've known they were making a movie for a while. And I was pretty sure it was going to be garbage, but not excrement. I didn't think it was going to be excrement. I thought it would be bad. I didn't think it was going to be just a hot pile of what my dog drops in the morning when we go for a walk. Well, I don't know. I will not see that movie. I won't see it for free.
What if I see it and I tell you?
I won't see it for Redbox. I won't look at it on Netflix.
What if I see it and I tell they do have the earrings or they do have if
you
it's
tell me
good,
it's the most magical movie that you've ever seen? I'm still not gonna see it.
You wouldn't even risk it.
I'm still not gonna
really.
See it. No, I have no interest. I have zero. I mean, make a Sailor Moon movie. I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, I'm there. Opening weekend. As long as it's, as long as Sailor Moon is Sailor Moon. Mm-hmm. And she's not, some white chick from the suburbs.
Who got on YouTube and made it famous and all of a sudden got magic powers from YouTube.
Yeah. Or just, I don't know how they could. Hollywood does dumb things with stories.
They could wreck it.
They get some execs and they're like, I got this great idea. We're going to do this. And then we're going to make it a DJ Cat. And blah, blah, blah. Great. Let's make a movie about it. And it's just, it's so much garbage.
Well, and I don't even think, like I get they don't have the earrings part, but I get, the point of it is she wears the makeup and it's, instead of a hologram, it's her mask and it's supposed to relate. I get it. I get when they were in the meeting what they were trying to...
Just talking about this movie is just... It's making me, physically ill. If you can't see me over here, I'm, moving around, grabbing my face. Literally just having to, replay the trailer in my head is maybe causing brain aneurysms or growing a tumor.
Can I mention one last thing
skull.
about Gem and we'll move on?
This is it. Yeah. Go.
I like how we decided we were going to put it on the docket. So I go up to him and I'm like, did you see... Because we just... had our channel subscribed to a movie trailer thing or whatever, and I was looking through the first 10, 20 trailers just to see if there's anything interesting for this episode, and I saw Gem and I was like, I need to see that trailer. I watch it, I'm like, it's not that good, but I need to ask Thor if we could talk about it or at least mention it without him knowing in the episode. And then I mention it and he's like, oh yeah, it's already on the list. I hate that trailer. And I'm like, I totally thought I was going to blindside him with some girl 80s cartoon, but he knew before I even mentioned it. We're talking about...
It's a pile of feces. All right, let's move on from there. I need some joy back in my life. So, quickly, Batman, new animated movie come out this week called Batman Unlimited Animal Instincts. This isn't in the same vein as Justice League, Throne of Atlantis, Batman vs. Robin, which we talked about a few weeks ago, Son of Batman, Assault on Arkham, the more adult tone ones, Justice League God of Monsters that's coming out in 2 months, the awesome one we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's not in the same vein as those. This is pretty much a kid's cartoon.
Batman Brave and the Bold.
Batman Brave and the Bold, same animation style as Batman Beyond, which I love, but I mean, the police cars are flying. Actually, in the beginning of the movie, he's in the black and red Batman Beyond suit, but it's still Bruce in there, and he's testing the suit out. Then he goes into a traditional gray and blue suit, but it's got Red Robin in it, which is one of the first times we've seen him animated, which I thought was pretty cool because it's Tim Drake, who's Robin and grows up and becomes Red Robin. It has Nightwing in it. You get some Flash, you get some Green Arrow, and then you get a lot of the animal supervillains. If you got young kids, like my brother with my 8-year-old nephew, it's a great movie for them. It's corny, but it's supposed to be. And there were actually parts that I found myself laughing a lot. There were some things about it that really made me mad, story-wise and plot points, but then I started to realize that I was analyzing a kid's cartoon for plot points and storyline. And then I just was like, you know what? Stop thinking before you have to reevaluate your life in general. So, bottom line is, it's fine. I mean, it's good. It's actually at parts better than Batman versus Robin dialogue-wise because it's cheesy, but it's meant to be, and it's kind of funny cheesy
instead
I mean, story's not as good. The action obviously not as good, but the action's on par with any of the 90s or late 90s cartoons. Not Batman the animated series, but the Superman one. Maybe the 4th season of the Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, some of the Justice League series, stuff like that, Justice League Unlimited. It's on par with that, but definitely more geared towards children. But I still bought it because I have really bad habits of buying anything and everything. So it was cool. Watched it. Check it out. It's out there. I'm sure if you can get it VOD or Redbox for $1, grab it, check it out if you like Batman. I just got it because Nightwing's in it. I should wear my Nightwing shirt tonight, but... Another Thor shirt. 8 weeks in a row. 8 different t-shirts. We'll see how many weeks I can actually do this for. I think I got a few more.
Wait, isn't it 9? Because didn't we tape... The Avengers was separate from an episode, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. So that would be 9 different
9.
t-shirts. Yes, 9 shirts. Solid. Keeping this going. So, yeah, you didn't see it, so he's got nothing to say on it. But moving on from there... WWE Paybacks this week. Wrestling.
Yeah.
This is something he knows about. We haven't talked about wrestling since WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's been so
So,
long.
it has.
I missed having it on the docket.
We watched Extreme Rules last month. We didn't talk about it. It was all right for a pay-per-view, but it wasn't like...
It had good parts to it,
Yeah.
but as a whole, it wasn't by any means like... It wasn't WrestleMania.
Oh, no. Well, no pay-per-view is. But, I mean, the story right now is kind of what's got me interested in talking about it is all three members of the Shield, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, are all in the main event at Payback this Sunday.
Really?
It's a fatal four-way for the World Championship. So you got those three plus Randy Orton all going at it for the championship belt. You also have Bray Wyatt versus Ryback, which should be all right.
Is that what they revealed is his sort of thing?
Yeah, that's who he was kind of talking to post Undertaker.
Didn't you tell me it was going to be Ryback?
I did tell you it was going to be Ryback.
He's good at guessing these wrestle
It's
things.
not that hard. Wrestling's not written that. I mean, it's soap opera writers. So, I mean, their thought process isn't that difficult to, like, figure out. Whatever. Then you got Wade Barrett versus Adrian Neville, which was on the pre-show of the last pay-per-view. Remember the little dude who, like, flips around the ring and, like, gets all crazy? Yeah. He's amazing. If you haven't seen Adrian Neville, watch him NXT stuff. Now that he's up on the main roster.
What's his special
the Red Arrow.
The Red Arrow?
It's like a 1.5 off the top rope. It's like a 1.5 twist off the top rope. It's amazing. It's pretty impressive.
I was telling my girlfriend about it. I was like, it's so awesome.
It is. So you got that match. You got Ziggler versus Sheamus. Some sort of tag team thing going on. Divas. I honestly haven't been keeping up on Raw and SmackDown as frequently as I have with this month being what it was with movies and Comic-Cons and work.
It was a busy month.
Yeah.
And these pay-per-views feel like they're coming like way fast.
They are. And realistically, you can skip a Raw here and there or a SmackDown here and there. Watch one and you'll know where everything stands pretty much.
Watch a pay-per-view.
So, you watch a pay-per-view and they'll show you everything that happened for the month before. So if you have the WWE Network, check that out. Or just come over to my house and we can watch it there. If you know where I live and can find me, good luck. So moving on from there, is there anything else you want to talk about Payback? Do you have any predictions for the main event? Just the main event. Out of the four, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, who do you think will win? You think Seth Rollins will retain or champion changes hands?
I'd almost bet it's going to be Seth Rollins retaining. And what's probably going to happen is in some way the Authority is going to come in and help him win.
What I want to happen, Dean Ambrose win. That's what I want to see. What will happen, Seth Rollins will retain. For sure.
Yeah.
I would book it. It's going to, I don't know. I think there's going to be some sort of swerve or some twist at the end of the pay-per-view. Don't ask me what it is. I don't have any good, solid. I haven't been watching close enough to make a solid prediction. But somehow Seth Rollins
has Kane done his? Because we were thinking Kane was going to switch and no longer be a part of the Authority. Or
there's still some on-running stuff with that, and that's going to play out. I think
what's Rusev doing this pay-per-view? Nothing.
Cena, I quit match. I've totally forgot about it. Don't even care anymore.
I honestly think Rusev is going to join the Authority and they're going to get rid of Kane.
You think so?
Bring new blood to the Authority and give Rusev something to do.
I think Rusev's going to beat Cena in the I Quit match. I hope so. He needs to. He lost at Mania. Mm-hmm. Didn't he lose at
the next thing
at Extreme Rules?
Yeah,
with strap match.
The
chain match,
Russian chain match.
So he lost at Mania. He lost the chain match.
And both times were because of his girlfriend.
You can't have him lose 3 times and make him look weak and diminish his rise to what's hopefully going to be main event scene at some point. Mm-hmm. So they have to make him look strong and win on this pay-per-view.
Well, and what I think would be a smart option, because the reason they built him as an evil Russian, so he is better than America. They can't let him just beat Cena, because then it's like saying Russia's better than America again, since they built the way it is built. But if they have the Authority help him, it's like Russia's dirty and cheats and America is honorable and fair.
He was kind of with the Authority back in the Survivor Series stuff. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. I think he's going to use Lana somehow to end up winning the I Quit match. But I think she's going to end up splitting away from him because she's become really popular and they're like chanting her name and it's causing like a rift between the two of them. Something's going to happen with all of that. It'll all play out Sunday on the pay-per-view. So make sure you watch that. Oh, and next Wednesday, because we're not going to tape a show before this too, There's the NXT live special next Wednesday night. I think it's NXT. I can't remember what they're calling it, but it's like NXT Rival something or whatever. It's the NXT special on Wednesday night. If you got the WWE Network or you know someone who has it, definitely watch it because NXT is some of the best in the ring product going on right now.
Yeah.
It just is. It is. They got phenomenal talent over there. Finn Balor. If you've never watched Finn Balor wrestle a match, you're missing out. Like, you are missing out. But all right, we'll get off wrestling because I know not all of our watch viewers are heavy wrestling fans as we are.
They
but
should be.
We got a couple out there. You know who you are, and we love you for that. So moving on from there, we'll talk about a little movie stuff before we get into our Twitter and Facebook questions. James McAvoy shaves his head for Professor X, so he's going to be a bald Professor X finally. He's had the hair in the past too. It'll be nice to see cue ball again. It'll be nice to see it, and I'm glad he's actually shaving his head and not doing the bald skull cap, because if you're gonna do it, go for it. Go balls out, man.
I feel like wigs look more real than ball caps in they look better.
Right. You can get better. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yep. So we got that, and then kind of big news. They've been talking about doing an X-Men spin-off for a while. It was going to be X-Force. It was going to be this, that. So I guess they finally decided on what it's going to be. It's going to be called X-Men New Mutants. It's going to be directed by the director of Fault in Our Stars. The guy's name is eluding me right now.
That's
and
a
I
weird
forgot to write it
choice.
down. But the director of Fault in Our Stars is going to direct it. It's going to be... They have a Fox Marvel movie for 2018 unnamed, and I think that's where it's going to go in the 2018 slot. I think it's 2018 or 17. I can't remember. Don't quote me on it either. But yeah, so that's been announced. Obviously, no mention of what mutants are going to be in it, but with the name New Mutants, expect new people. I mean, we're
Hopefully.
getting a little bit done with Cyclops, Jean Grey. We need some fresh blood, and there's tons of mutants that Fox can use that Marvel can't touch. So why not start throwing out some new people, starting to get some, they got the Gambit movie coming. They got Wolverine 3. They got Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse. But after X-Men Apocalypse, no one knows what's going to happen with the X-Men franchise. So why not start this new mutant franchise and see if you can't, spark something from there, or take the remnants of the X-Men one, some of the new one, mix it together, make something going forward.
Yeah. Especially since they reset the timeline, so they can completely
They can do whatever they want.
change the new X-Men sort of team. You know what I mean? It can be one or two people from old X-Men plus a bunch more new mutants, and then that way they don't have Marvel accident Marvel steal a couple of them back or whatever, kind of like with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Those are the only two it'll ever happen with. Every other mutant or X-Men universe person will be Fox's until the rights
don't
for
they have to
everything
use?
revert back.
Oh, they don't have to use.
No,
each
they don't. They don't
character?
have to. They just have to do an X-Men movie. They just have to keep making movies in that world. They don't have to use all the characters. They just have to keep pumping out movies.
Okay.
So as long as they're making movies, it doesn't matter which characters they use or how often they use them.
Is it
They
only
just have to-
specific character like Wolverine?
No, not even them. It's just
really?
mutant. It's just X-Men movies in general.
Okay.
And anything that falls under, from my understanding at least, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But from what I understand, as long as they're making X-Men movies or in that universe and using mutants, then it doesn't matter which ones they use or how often they use them. They're theirs until they stop making X-Men movies, because they all fall under the umbrella of X-Men. So. Well, moving on from there, we actually have some Twitter and Facebook questions, and we love hearing from you guys out there in the basements of America. So keep them coming. Even we'll put it out sometime when we're looking for questions, but anytime, hit us up on Facebook, tweet us, #BasementBoyBanter, or just, tag our account. Instagram, comment in the sections.
Yeah, I think we've
let
been
us
pretty
know.
good about trying to answer questions / review
Oh, we'll
what
answer questions. We'll give you, whatever you guys want. You guys got a topic you want to see, question you want to answer, we'll give you a shout out for doing it. So yeah, keep them coming. So first question for tonight is more of asked us to talk about something about our buddy Ed on Facebook. asked us if we could talk about the Spider-Man news and some of the Suicide Squad picks that have been out recently. We'll start with the Spider-Man stuff. We've definitely talked about this before.
Yeah.
But it was reported earlier last week that the Aisha Butterfield, or however you say that,
Ender's Game guy,
the Ender's Game dude, the contracts are being finalized, but it's pretty much a done deal. He's going to be your Spider-Man. Again, what are your thoughts on him being Spider-Man?
I don't think it's like the worst choice ever. He doesn't jump out as me as like amazing Spider-Man, but he wasn't like horrible in Ender's Game or anything. I mean, that movie wasn't great, but it had some decent stuff in it. Like, it was just, I don't know. That movie is mixed. I'd have to watch it again to give you a 100%.
Did you see the movie he was in, directed by the Scorsese movie he was in? He was in a Martin Scorsese movie. I can't think of the name.
If he's a kid in the movie, I probably just ignore him because kids are kind of grading in movies usually.
I've heard his performance in that is pretty good.
Okay.
I honestly, maybe I saw 10 minutes of Ender's Game, so I haven't even seen that movie to say. But just on looks, he wouldn't have been my first choice. But I'm willing to see, like, you know, I'm willing to give it a chance. For the longevity, I totally get it. I mean, the kid looks 12.
Yeah.
You know, so having him be a freshman and doing freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, is that how high school goes? It's been a long time, so something like that.
I just know
something
numbers.
like that. So if they're gonna do that, you can get, you know, he's 18. The kid's 18 years old. You think of Tobey Maguire and
he's 18.
Yeah, he's 18.
He looks.
I'm no lie, 18 years old. I know he looks 15.
People
but
tell me
he's
I'm
18.
baby faced.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
That's
You and me both.
I think you
with
should,
my gray hairs.
Before you watch Star Wars, you should watch Ender's Game. Harrison Ford's in it.
I know Harrison Ford's in it, but I was like, wow.
He has
you mean for The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Or I thought you just meant like when I watch Star Wars once a month,
No.
because I usually watch the Star Wars trilogy at least once a month.
Because I swear I saw when they first announced something with Han being in the movie. I don't remember what line.
I'll maybe have to check it out.
You should watch it because I'm pretty sure there's a couple lines that I'd almost bet money Han Solo is going to repeat, because I swear I saw something where he repeated lines.
Maybe I don't think JJ
crazy.
would have any lines repeated from Ender's Game and Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I just, knowing JJ the way he is kind of a control freak, and he's not gonna, you know. But we'll see. I mean, maybe I'll have to check out the movie at some point because I want to see this kid's. I want, you know, check him out. But I just think it'd be weird him next to Robert Downey Jr. or Hemsworth. Like, that whole dynamic is gonna be very odd the first time on camera. But we'll see, because if he shows up on the set for Civil War, because you think if Spider-Man's going to be in Civil War, like we keep talking about, they're shooting it, he'd have to get there pretty quick. I have a feeling within the week, we're going to know for sure who Spider-Man is, and for sure if he's in that movie. Because if all of a sudden he's on set, you know that's going to get out. And Marvel's smart. They're going to want to get ahead of anything. So if there's anything that's going to be released, or the suit, or they want to put out what their vision the vision they want you to see first is their vision. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't judge it harshly before
on like
it happens.
some grainy picture, some like, you know, leaked image or something like that. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I mean, I'm just excited Spider-Man's in the MCU. I really don't care because I trust how Marvel handles characters, that they're gonna do a good job. And if Kevin Feige, and I mean, it's Sony's decision for who Spider-Man is, but it's Marvel's decision. I trust them. So let's see what they can do. And then we'll see. And then the other thing you wanted us to talk about were the Suicide Squad picks. You got a chance to see them. They've been coming out for the last couple weeks. I think we've talked about them once or twice. I know we've talked about like the Joker pick and the fake. It was fake, by the way, the Harley Quinn Joker
found
pick.
Out?
Yeah, it was fake.
Did someone mention it on our...
No. I found out online. It was made by... I can't remember who it was made by. Those two are so good.
Yeah.
Whoever made it. They almost had one of us here at the table. I mean, I was 50-50, but I was more leaning towards fake than real, but you could see it either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go both ways, like most girls in college. So the other picks that have come out, we got Harley Quinn walking with a bat. We finally got Killer Croc without a shirt on. More shots of Deadshot without his mask.
He looks good.
He does.
He looks good for
Fresh
like
Prince of Bel Rev. It's the prison they're from.
Yeah. He looks like, I definitely don't see Will Smith.
Right.
I see.
Uncle Phil.
Well,
Because he's kind of, you know, saying the ball, whatever. All right, so yeah.
sore wounds, man. Sore wounds.
No, I like a lot of the picks. I mean, they look good. Harley Quinn, I think, looks on point. I mean, I want to see some different because they're gonna say she's gonna have multiple costume changes throughout the movie. So I'm curious to see the next one.
Well, I'm kind of sick of seeing Harley Quinn. There's so many other people in there, and I get that that's what most people care about. But
it's Harley Quinn and Deadshot are those
right.
the two.
Well, and I'm glad we got Deadshot, but it's like I wish we could get a little bit more of the other people, only because I want to kind of know, like, if we're gonna get 1,000 shots of Harley Quinn, I don't really want to talk every week.
I mean,
I'll
look at Margot Robbie all day. Do not get me wrong,
right?
Margot Robbie,
but I don't think it's show worthy.
No. The one picture I did like though is when Rick Flag was arguing. All you saw was Rick Flag from the back and arguing with Will Smith's Deadshot. And you had El Diablo standing right by there. And we still haven't seen Katana in many shots besides the group shot. Captain Boomerang a little bit in the background. But you're right. Most of it's been 90% Harley Quinn and the rest Deadshot with a little bit of Killer Croc and hoods and other things.
Shirtless in that one picture.
Yeah, the one picture of him shirtless, which I thought looked pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, some people are hating on that Killer Croc, but I don't want him to be like massive, like too much looking like an animal.
Right.
I want him to look like a human with a skin condition who's still a supervillain, not like a mutated metahuman, you know. I mean, it's just there's so many different Killer Crocs that's been out there. He reminds me a lot of the one from Batman the Animated Series. And I loved that one. Like that was one of my favorite incarnations. He was gray, you know, he just was tough skinned and he just was shirtless all the time. He was like a circus freak. And they had some great backstory with that the Batman the Animated Series Killer Croc.
Well, and he was like dumb correctly, because I think there's a lot of cartoons, especially now, that try to play dumb characters,
but like overly dumb,
and they're like dumb, annoying. Like new SpongeBob's pretty rough sometimes, but like Killer Croc was like dumb in like a funny
believable way. Like a believable
like
way.
There's that one episode where all the villains are talking and they're like talking about how they almost got Batman.
Yeah.
And Killer Croc's like, I threw a rock on him. And it's like, that's like the funniest line in the whole episode, because it's very Killer Croc, but it's also stupid because it's like, oh, he threw a rock on him. Like, it fits the character, but it's funny.
Wasn't one of those sitting at the table, Batman dressed up? I can't remember how that episode
Yeah,
goes.
I think so.
Or is he jumping at the end?
I think that one of them's Batman dressed up.
Was it Killer Croc though?
I don't remember.
All right, now I have to go back and I have all the seasons. So
and that's a good episode, so it's worth watching.
I am in the midst of rewatching Dragon Ball Z from the beginning all the way through 9 seasons, but 9 episodes. I wish 300 plus episodes. I'm almost to the Frieza saga. I'm almost back to Super Saiyans. Oh. All right, I know no Dragon Ball Z this week. All right. Twitter question. So, Ed, thanks for the Facebook questions. I always keep those coming on Facebook. We love chatting with you guys over there. But going to Twitter, at CBXcasts, hit us up. Wanted us to talk about thoughts on nerd culture and consumerism. Are geeks inhabiting the earth, or are we being fleeced for profit? I thought this was a really good question. It's a complicated question for sure. Because... And what I responded to him is I think it goes both ways. You know, like pop nerd culture, it was so kids stuff. You know what I mean? Comic books are for kids. Cartoons are for kids. You know, a lot of the stuff that we were into for years, it was more underground. It was more on the outskirts. And more Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, these things that nerds or like uncool people watched have become cooler and more in, and now where it's more pop culture as opposed to like.
But it is, you know, pop culture any better? No,
but I'm saying like, and as it's become that, it's become more commercialized. So now there's so many different collectibles, T-shirts, Comic-Cons, conventions. You know, there's
people looking for money.
You know, like we were talking about Hot Topic. You walk into a Hot Topic, they have your Doctor Who section, your Star Wars section, Nightmare Before Christmas for girls, all your Marvel stuff usually right out front. Some anime stuff.
Right.
So depending upon what, section of nerd culture is your favorite, or if you're like me and you love all of them, so you're literally grabbing anything you can get your hands on. And
we're going to have to go Hot Topic once you run out of shirts.
A couple of them already been from there since the show started. I ain't even going to lie. I won't say which ones, but one has been from there. One so far has been from there. But I mean, it is like, look at toys. And this is the example I was using earlier. Toys were cheap. Think about the die-cast metal Transformers that came out back in the day. They were amazing, but they were cheap. They were $20, maybe not even. Maybe for Optimus Prime it was like $20-$30, and that was a ton. My parents hated buying those. Now you get a die-cast metal Hulkbuster armor Iron Man from Hot Toys, $800. Look at that little tiny Groot that I got.
Yeah.
That was $55.
Ooh, mama.
You know what I mean? The one I was looking at Comic-Con was $90. That Goku statue, close to $100. So when he's talking about, are we being fleeced for profit? Are these companies seeing like, we're so rabid and it's so collectible, the things we're into, that they just pump out products, and we have to go buy them to continue to, I don't know. The question is valid. That's why I want to talk about it on the show, because it's deep. So I don't know. You go for a little bit. Like, what are your thoughts on like the consumerism of nerd culture, and are we in control or are they in control?
I guess my problem with that is I think nerd culture's kind of gotten out of hand, because it's like hard to say what's nerd anymore. Because like way back when it was like, you liked comics, you were a nerd. Now it's like, it's anime, Star Wars, science fiction, fantasy. Like there's so many different levels.
Right.
Nerd doesn't even necessarily mean what it did way back when. And I hate people who are all about like Big Bang Theory drives me nuts, because it's all about how nerds are funny and cool now. And it's like they're making fun of us through a TV show like that.
See, I don't have that much of a problem with Big Bang Theory.
I do.
like Big Bang Theory. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion.
But that's what I mean, though, is I feel like nerd culture is not necessarily, I feel like it is being abused. Like, yeah, I still buy like the new edition Dungeons and Dragons book, 5th edition that just came out or whatever. But that's not necessarily, that's a rule book to play a game. It's like buying a board game.
Like so even the genres like Warhammer, Magic, those packs of cards, those little minis, just to get a pack of them unpainted and unglued, $40. Then to glue them, paint them, like and they just keep pumping more and more and more out. Like they get to a point with some of the stuff and stop, or and I'm not saying that I want to go back to where they don't make any of this stuff either, because I love this stuff. I mean, I love going to the collectible shop and buying, blowing some money on a action figure my girlfriend's going to ask me why I bought it 50 times. You know what I mean? Like, I love that sort of stuff. But when he posed that question, I had to stop and think about it. And that's why I say it kind of goes both ways, because it's still our money. We spend it where we see fit. So don't just go out and buy everything they put out like some blind fanboy. But I'm very selective on what I buy. I've been searching for that Groot for 4 months. You know what I mean? So when I got it, I was like, yeah, it's a little small, but it's super detailed, and I love it. And, that Goku statue, I literally look at that thing every single morning when I wake up. It is right on top of my DVR, under my TV, right in front of my bed. So I sit up in the morning, I'm like, Goku sitting there blasting, I'm ready, I'm starting my day. You know what I mean? So, they're not really fleecing us, because they're finally giving us what we want. You know what I mean? But we decide where our money goes.
Well, and I don't think that's I think it's the fact that they're turning it into pop culture. Nerd stuff used to be you got something, if you got a statue of some nerd thing, it wasn't because it was popular. It was because you liked it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can argue, well, your money goes where you want it, but does it really anymore? It's all about the popularity of these things. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You're never going to see an unpopular character in an action figure for as much as some of these popular characters because
Right.
they want the fandom behind what they can make the most money on.
They're like, this is popular, make products for this to sell.
Right. And I hate seeing stuff like, and I'm sure people who are into bands and see people wearing like a Nirvana t-shirt and they've never listened to any song other than Smells Like Teen Spirit or something. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm sure it's just as annoying, but it's annoying to me when I see someone in like a Star Wars t-shirt. I'm like, oh yeah, Star Wars is sweet. And they're like, yeah, you know, the pod racing was pretty cool. And I'm like, you saw the other ones, right? And he's like, nah, I only seen the prequels. And I'm like, you don't know Star Wars at all.
No.
Or like they're wearing like a Star Trek shirt and it's like
They're wearing an NWA shirt and don't even know what it stands for or something. I love hipsters. Don't get me wrong.
But that's what I mean.
I love you hipsters out there. Don't ever change.
It drives me nuts that people who buy the stuff aren't just fans anymore. It's like what music and all that.
They buy it to be cool.
Right.
Not because they're actually into it. We're like, we go out and buy stuff like we're actually into. Like, I don't just buy stuff because my name is Thor. Well, I do just buy stuff because my name is Thor. Like, I buy Thor stuff because my name's Thor. But I'm also into it, well, because my name is Thor.
Right.
You know, but I like Guardians and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I wasn't into Guardians before the movie, but like, I went out and bought that because I've been into Dragon Ball Z for over a decade. You know, like, I go buy this stuff because I'm into it, not because like, ooh, like, shiny.
Right.
You know?
Well, and I don't mind
squirrel.
someone being into something because they started with, oh, I got this cool t-shirt
cool.
and then I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
What drives me nuts is the people who just get the t-shirt because their friends are all into it or whatever
Because it's what's
be.
in. It's what's hit.
Right.
Or hit. Ha.
Hip.
It's what's hit. Hot.
But
with
then
it.
they just sort of, that's it. They don't pursue I want to check this stuff out, but they still wear the t-shirt
They
like
don't
they've
have
done
passion
something.
for it.
Right. I feel like being a nerd means you have passion for something. I don't care what it is. If you're a music nerd because you have passion for music, that's fine. But if you're a person who just acts like they like comic books and wears t-shirts but has never read more than like one or two that their friends loan them, you're not a nerd. You're someone who's pretending to be a nerd to be a part of this pop culture. And that's what drives me nuts about the consumer part of it. Is it's all these people abusing the fact that they're making this cool stuff.
It's mainstream.
Right.
You know?
And it's not like I want to be hipster and underground. I just want people to be passionate about it.
Right.
I don't care if every person on the
If
planet
you're
was
going to be
passionate
into
about
it,
it.
actually be into it.
Right.
Don't just be into it because, you know, you
It's
think
popular.
That's what, you think that's what you need to do. Like, do you. Whatever that is. Like, I think it's Abraham Lincoln says, whatever you're going to be a good one. You know? Whatever you're
Abraham
gonna
Lincoln,
be.
relevant even today.
Just dropping knowledge.
It's the hat and the beard.
Well, that's it. We have nothing else. Unless you have anything else you want to...
I think
You got anything?
I think
We're
we're
good?
good. I think we're good.
Put a bow on this bitch? All
Uh-huh.
right. Just like Christmas time. So thanks for joining us this week. As always, I'm your host, Thor. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. Thor is GR and the number 8. Brian, where can they find us?
Facebook, everywhere. We've said
Instagram,
it.
Twitter.
This is
We'll say
your
it
first
again, though.
rodeo, yeah.
Yep, just search Basement Boy Banter. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel too, so we keep us coming back. Like the videos, comment on this, comment on anything, throw us questions. We'll catch y'all next week.
Bye.
If you like what you just saw, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our Facebook page.